Good morning, everyone from Scotland, and thank you very much for joining this webinar. So the webinar today is really for those of you who have received an offer for a master program in any subject area at the business school here with a professional practice element. So the professional practice element is a very unique setting, and that is why the seminar will give you further information on how it will be structured, and then the kind of learning outcomes you'll be expected, and also how you can benefit from that. So I do have my colleague Katie here, who is the conversion manager for international students and admissions, and she will join me after the webinar presentation to answer any questions you may have. And then just to let you know that the webinar will start by a presentation given by myself, and then we will have the question and answer time to follow with that, and then where Katie and I will answer any questions to help you with your study preparation. And then the link to the recorded webinar session will be emailed to you after the webinars, and also you will be able to ask any further questions by replying to that email to our colleagues at the student support. So my name
Hi.
is Bing Wu Berberich. Yeah, and then here is Katie, if you like just to quickly introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi everyone, I'm Katie McRae. As Bing said, I'll be in the chat box throughout the webinar to answer any questions, and I'll pop back on at the end to help. So I'll hand over to you, Bing, now for the presentation.
Thank you very much, Katie. Just a little bit further to introduce, I look after this particular professional practice element for all the MSc programs at the Glasgow School for Business and Society, and I myself is based at the Department for People and Organizations, is one of the department who hosts the Human Resource Management and International Human Resource Management MSc programs. So the session today, I will introduce the particular element, this unique element, with the following three areas as displayed on this slide. So first of all, I just want to have a further clarification of what this placement learning is about in terms of fulfilling your professional practice program requirement. And then also I will introduce the overall MSc programs with professional practice at our school. And then finally, some further information about the requirement we have from the students in order to complete this particular program successfully, and then also some little suggestions to help you better prepare yourself mentally to embark on this exciting, valuable, yet challenging learning journey with us in Glasgow from this September on. And then after the presentation, you will have the opportunity to ask any questions regarding your situation, and then anything that you want to have further explanation from us. So that is the Q&A session. So let's look into the placement learning first. So you will notice, rather than saying professional practice, I'm saying placement, because a very important element to ground the professional practice learning at the program level is for you to undertake a placement learning, which is a module structured, consists of the actual work experience you have to carry out, as well as the assessment. So this is not something only just unique at Glasgow Caledonian University. It is actually a widely recognized learning element. So I will firstly introduce what placement learning is about, and then briefly touch upon the value of the placement learning to you as a student for the further development and professionalism. So placement learning is actually a planned integral part of a studies program. And then this placement learning will happen during the structured period of time. And we often see placement learning is a type of work integrated learning, as the term indicates. It is learning from working. So that means you will be given sufficient period of time to carry out the learning from work, and then to demonstrate your learning outcomes and pass this particular structured learning in order to receive that degree with the title professional practice. And because of this, the placement learning is actually compulsory and will be assessed. And that means you will have to follow the common academic module structure, although the unique element is rather than only going to classroom to do the learning and teaching with your lecturers, you will be required to undertake the work, the relevant work. And the actual type of placement work is not only just about paid work, it can also be unpaid. And as long as it provides you the learning opportunities with a hands-on experience. So that means placement learning is very different from the kind of common internship, as many of you may have done it during your first degree, and also very different from the kind of part-time work some students tend to do alongside their study, working for different companies or different retailers. So this is a very organized, and it's a very important part of the learning as the program structure. And the next question really comes in, this type of programs have become more and more popular in many universities, and we have offered this professional practice element of learning to most of our MSc programs at the School for Business and Society. So obviously it does have reasons, and this is also the reason why you have chosen to apply for a program with this unique learning element. So I'm sure there are various individual reasons that why you decided to go for this kind of program, but a very commonly recognized value for a placement learning to student development is often seen as a good way and a very powerful way to apply your learned academic theories to the real world situation, and then offers you the opportunity to really test out how well you have learned the knowledge and how you can see the knowledge can help you understand different contexts in the real world or business situation. And more so, this is a learning opportunity, and it also gives you the chance to learn something new that you probably wouldn't be able to learn so easily at a traditional classroom teaching setting. So that means you will gain certainly the skills that when you do things with your colleagues, and also when you really solve a problems or complete a project. So those hands-on skills are invaluable for anybody who want to enter a professional work environment in future. And then with these kind of skills accumulated through your placement work, you will then become more competitive in the graduate job market in whichever the country that you would like to base yourself in. So those are really the commonly recognized value and the rationale for many universities offer this kind of learning. And obviously, each university has their specific requirement and structure of how to organize an MSc program with professional practice. So the next part, the big part actually, is that I will introduce briefly how we organize the learning for professional practice, and we'll cover some of the key information, including some particular information that is relevant to international students. So first of all, let's look at the overall structure. It is a 2-year full-time program, and that means instead of a traditional 1-year taught master degree offered by many universities, we do offer them as well. The professional practice programs actually has 2 years, and which is including the part that you will do in the placement work and the subsequent assessment. And then from the second trimester, so we have 3 trimesters in an academic year, and you are due to start in September with us. So the September start is the first trimester. So that means from the January 2025 trimester, you will be required to attend various sessions alongside your normal classroom teaching. And then this is actually part of the professional placement module, which is the very big module that stand out from the traditional 1-year taught master programs. And then obviously, one of the things I also like to make you aware is even when you successfully enrolled and started your learning in September under this program structure, it is not an automatic guarantee that you will finish with a degree of master in certain areas with professional practice. Actually, you will have to be able to progress into the stage of doing a work placement and submit your assessment. So there are certain requirements you will have to meet to demonstrate your ability to potentially um, cope with the learning element at workplace, which I will introduce in more detail in the last part. And this is a kind of quick overview of the program structure. So as you can see, in year one, there are 3 trimesters. The first 2 trimesters are mostly for you to attend, learn different subject area knowledge, like academic knowledge. So each trimester, you will be undertaking 4 academic modules with 15 credits per module. And then upon successfully passing all the modules, that is a total of 8, you then progress into the 3rd trimester to do your degree dissertation. So by the end of your year one, for most other students who do not study the professional practice element, they would have graduated with a degree, the straightforward MSc degree in certain subject areas, and that is they have earned 180 credits in total. But for the professional practice students, upon successfully progress into year two, then you have further 2 more trimesters, fourth and fifth trimesters. Then this is where you will do your professional placement work and then finish that and submit your coursework for the professional placement module and pass that to get your additional 60 credit, and that will take you a total of 240 credits by the end of year two, which you will then be awarded a degree with a named subject with professional practice elements in print. So as you can see, for our placement module, after the induction in the first trimester, the September trimester, you will not start any learning or attend any sessions until the second trimester, and this will be throughout your remaining 4 trimesters. But obviously, during your actual work placement time, they will not be required attending on campus, but they might be some contact hours from your program professional lead or your placement supervisor to check on your progress and then also to pick up any issues that might need further support. So this is the overall structure. And then obviously the taught modules vary depending on which program you are actually studying. So you will just follow the modules organized for those particular programs, either marketing or human resource management or finance and so on. So to give you a better timeline illustration, this is the timeline that you can see. So starting from September 2024, you will have until the end of April 2025 next year to complete your 8 taught modules for the 2 trimesters, plus doing some sessions for our professional placement module. And then from May to August 2025 next year, you have the 3rd trimester, which is your dissertation period, plus some sessions for professional placement modules. And then the submission for September intake is normally in August, and then the results will be released in September the following year. So in September 2025, you will be able to know whether or not you will progress to the next stage for your actual placement. And for the successful progression into the year two, students will need to start and complete their work placement from October 2025 until the following April in 2026. So you have about 7 months. Within this period, you have to finish the work placement. And then the submission for our professional placement module assessment is in May, and then you will be notified your results in June 2026. If you successfully receive the degree awarded, will be the graduation will be in July 2026. So that means that is the time of the 2-year program. That's how it is planned out. So for international students, something I just want to highlight. For placement, we do have a requirement of a total hours you have to complete. That is 200 contractual hours. So these hours needs to be clearly stated on the employment contract for your work placement. But how you complete that 200 hours can be flexible. It can either be part-time, full-time, or can even be a project base, but as long as the 200 hours are fulfilled within the given period of time. So in this sense is between this yellow window. So within this time, anytime you can start and complete and achieve your 200 placement work hours that will be meeting the program requirement. And as you know, as an international student, you are on the student visa that allows you to do some work, which is up to 20 hours per week during the study time. And these 20 hours are additional to your placement hours. So that means you can still work somewhere else in addition to your placement workplace, as long as your additional work is within the 20 hours per week, and that is actually within your student visa regulation. So that is something that I just like to draw your attention. And obviously, you are not left alone to do this part. It is a very big areas of learning and involves a lot of things. So we have a variety of sessions organized from the second trimester with a team of academics and professionals to work with you and support you from understanding your areas of development, developing your personal development plan, to helping you to prepare for searching, applying, and securing work placement opportunity. So at times, we also organize guest speakers from the industries. So that is the opportunity for you to really establish your professional network that explore different placement learning opportunities. And then there are also times we invite the alumni who have completed their placement work and then like to share some experience, and maybe even offer some opportunities for the current students as well. So these are the sessions that we organize as part of the program learning. And then that means you will have the chance to work with a wide range of professionals and academics at business school and also at the university level. So the key contact people you will encounter a lot is myself, the overall module leader, but then you will likely have more closer contact with your program placement lead, the faculty that will look after particularly your program with your background knowledge. And then during your placement, you will also be assigned a placement supervisor, a faculty who has probably taught you during the first two trimesters. And then there will also be relevant module leaders and instructors that will work with you during your overall the professional placement learning period. And then the professionals, we have a dedicated team of career services who will help you to prepare for your CV, prepare for attending an interview, and then how to write a cover letter and so on. And then we also have a dedicated school employability manager who will search for different kinds of placement opportunities for you to consider, and also linking the industries with our school and programs to support students to develop the professional based knowledge. So this is pretty much the overview of the programs organized at the Glasgow School for Business and Society. And then the final part of my presentation, I will give you a bit more information about the requirement that you need to meet in order to progress into year 2 and complete your actual professional placement learning to fulfill that requirement of professional practice. And then some suggestions on how you can better prepare yourself and carry out the whole study in the next 2 years with us to achieve the success of your study and also leading to a more successful career ahead. So first of all, the academic requirement. This is where we have to fulfill the academic um, quality and learning and teaching assurance. So the 180 credits that students must obtain in order to successfully finish their year one study. So that means 120 credits will come from passing all the assessments for the 8 academic modules you'll be learning in the first 2 trimesters. And then the dissertation is 60 credits, so that is a total of 180. However, we also have agreed requirement for those academic module assessments. And the standard requirement is your average mark for the 8 academic modules over the 2 trimesters needs to be at least 60% out of 100. So to put in a context, the 60% in the UK education is equivalent of B. So it's the second highest band. B, the starting of the B. So I think in some country maybe that means minimum of 80 out of 100, or for other countries is a different calculation. But anyway, the classification in terms of the A, B, C, D, it is actually B equivalent. So that is actually the academic requirement you have to meet in order to progress into the year 2. And then the year 2 is the actual work placement period plus writing and submitting your professional placement module assessment and pass that. So if you pass that successfully at the end of your year 2 work placement, you will then earn an additional 60 credit, which gives you a total of 240 credits required by the master in your subject areas with the professional practice degree printed. So this is the academic requirement. And obviously, when we talk about work placement, we don't mean any work that will be suitable. It has to meet certain requirements, and then also the whole process for you to search, apply, and secure a placement needs to follow the required process to ensure that you will not be exposed to any risky working environment, and that your health and well-being will be well protected during this time. So it's very much for your own benefit that we have developed a set of process, including risk assessment, to make sure that we are not putting our students in danger so that they will get a placement experience. So first of all, they are required process, and you will get more information about that throughout your study. And then obviously a confirmed employment contract for the placement is very important, stating clearly your start and ending date. This is also to fulfill the visa regulation to make sure that you are not in danger of violating the visa regulation. And importantly, you will have to seek a work placement that is relevant to your subject area. So, for example, if any of you is due to start an MSc in human resource management, then your work placement needs to be in the function area of human resource management. If you find a job working in marketing or finance, that would not be recognized as a suitable placement learning. So that is the essential thing. And then this will be, you will have to gain approval of the placement. So this is not just you secure a placement, get a work contract, and then you can just start. You have to have it recorded at our end, and then we will then guarantee, or we can vouch for you to say you are doing placement learning rather than doing just the casual work under this learning environments. So that is why you must receive an approval before you can start the work placement. So obviously, if anybody start the placement work without this approval in advance, can be seen as an illegal worker in this country, and then that will negatively impact your student visa status. The worst case can even be the cancellation of your visa sponsorship. So that is something that I just want to highlight to students who require a student visa coming over to join us. And now the final bit of time that I like to spend is just to give you some advice on how you can better prepare yourself to maximize your learning outcomes from participating in the professional placement learning. So before the placement period, which is anytime from January 2025, is what we've seen as the pre-placement stage. So this is where you will accumulate necessary knowledge that allow you to practice during your placement work, and then also to demonstrate your understanding, and then you are able to apply the theory to the real world. And in order to do that, it is actually the very common academic learning attitude that we need to we expect from you. So very importantly, as a student, you are responsible for your learning and development. So in a way, how well you do in your assessment is largely entirely up to you, well, almost entirely up to you. If you follow the advice and also the learning structures, the activities set out by your lecturers, by your program leaders, and then you committed to it. So that involves in the engagement. So engage in the learning. And this is more than just simply coming to a class, checking the attendance to fulfill the visa regulation. Is actually engage in the learning, participate in the discussion. And quite often the knowledge in business and management and social science area, the learning comes from discussing and inquiring, asking questions. Reading is not enough, although reading is essential. So that is why you will be expected to do a lot of group work, to do a lot of in-class activities, discussions, or even posters. And then you will be required to do some analysis of real-world situation, and just to constantly test your knowledge, and then help you to identify new areas of learning. And the demonstration of your commitment is obviously participating in any work required, and then have constructive discussion with your lecturers, with your classmates, and then complete your assessment to the best of your knowledge, and completely taking ownership of how well you are doing that. And in addition to paying attention to academic learning, it is very crucial for you to acquire knowledge about the job market in the UK, for example, because I believe many of you would like to secure some position in the UK or in other countries, but then you might not have sufficient knowledge about the graduate job market and how the hiring and recruitment selection process is. So this is also the opportunity for you to learn more about that. So we have sessions like that delivered by the professionals to help you understand how we look for people in this country, but then that will just be a beginning. So we would expect students to take the initiative to search online information to find out how you can prepare yourself to secure a work placement and to really stand out in the many applications companies receive. And then also, placement is a type of learning, work integrated learning. And we also expect you to exercise your creative skills, like being creative, being innovative, to develop or even cultivate some placement learning opportunities for yourself. So this is also the creativity and also the sense of innovation is quite demanded by a lot of employers, not only in the UK, but in many other countries, that they hope their employees are able to take initiative in developing, creating new opportunities. So if you can demonstrate your ability in this area during your placement learning, then that will certainly contribute positively to your future employment prospects and also your career development. So obviously, this effort is to help you secure the work placement and then complete that. So during the work placement, lot of things will equally be applicable, i.e., you also need to be responsible for the work you are given, and then you have to start develop and exercise the professionalism at workplace, how to communicate professionally, how to deal with different inquiries, even challenging environment using a professional approach, effective communication, and also how to solve complicated problems and so on. And then at the same time, employers always enjoy working with or having employees who are taking initiative in searching for development opportunities. And this is where you can be active in looking for different learning opportunities at workplace, and by constantly talking to your colleagues, your line managers, your supervisors, to identify anything that you can participate to increase your employability. And one of the important skills that we often encourage our students across the university to acquire is the reflective learning approach. So this is the best way to help you master the knowledge and skills you have learned, and that will give you the benefit for a lifetime. So the reflection on how you have done the work is also part of the assessment for this professional placement module. So that is where we will also encourage and expect you to be reflective on your learning and work, and constantly identify areas for recognition, for further improvement, and then also maybe even maintaining an evidence log to show how you have achieved your learning and how you have developed during your work placement period. And this can be recorded as part of your assessment at the end of the year two. Submit contributes to your overall learning outcome. So these are obviously just some of the like flavor of the um, efforts that you are expected to make in order to enable you to complete the study. But they are obviously more depending on the specific subject areas you're learning. So the biggest advice I would give you is take the ownership of your own study, and then seeking information, and then extend to get advice, and then get some support from the practice professional professional practice colleagues, as well as the other um, module leaders and module instructors during your study. So I think that is pretty much everything that I want to cover for the seminar today. And thank you very much for listening, and also the very best of luck for your next stage to prepare to come joining us in September in Glasgow, Scotland.